Two lines are parallel if their slopes are the same. So if we take a look at these two lines, the one that's dashed is the y equals negative 4x plus 1. It has a y-intercept at 1, and the slope's going downhill at a rate of negative 4 over 1. So there's our slope, there's our line, a y-intercept. And for the next one, it has the same slope, so it's at the same tilt, if you will, but the difference is the y-intercepts. So here I have a y-intercept of 1, here I have a y-intercept of negative 2, but the slopes are the same. Both have slope of negative 4. For perpendicular lines, we take a look at this. In order for two lines to be perpendicular, their slopes have to be opposite signs and reciprocals of each other. So if I take a look at the slope of the dashed line, I can see it's going downhill, so it's going to be the negative 3 for the slope, and the y-intercept is going to be way up here at 6. For the one that's the solid line, its slope is a positive 1/3. It's going uphill, and it has a y-intercept of 2. And perpendicular lines will form a 90-degree angle with each other, so one has to be going uphill while the other one goes downhill. The signs have to be opposite, and then the numbers have to be reciprocals of each other. So two lines are parallel if and only if the slopes are equal, and two lines are perpendicular if and only if they're opposite reciprocals of each other. So, for example, if the slope of one line is 5, and I want to know what's the slope of a line, and I'll call it parallel. Looks like the number 11, but that's my parallel line. Slope of a parallel line is going to be 5. The slope of a line perpendicular to that, I'm going to make an upside down T to represent perpendicular, is going to have to be opposite, and then the reciprocal of 5, 1/5. If I have a slope of 2/3 of my original line, the slope of a line parallel to that is also going to be the same, 2/3. But the slope of a line perpendicular to that is going to be the opposite sign of what I start with, and then the reciprocal, or flip it. So let's try this one. Slope is negative 1/10. Slope of a line parallel is going to be negative 1/10. But the slope of a line perpendicular to that line is going to be opposite sign, positive, and then flip 1/10, 10 over 1, or 10. So what if the slope of the original line is 0? All right, it's horizontal. The slope of a line parallel to that is also going to be 0. But the slope of a line perpendicular to that, all right, is going to be, well, it's not going to be 0, because then that would be parallel. You've got to flip 0. Think of 0 as 0 over 1. So if I flip it, it's 1 divided by 0. But remember, if you divide by 0, it's undefined. All right, so think about what's going on here. If I have a line that has a slope of 0, it's some horizontal line. And in order for a line to be perpendicular to that, it's going to be one that's straight up and down, vertical. So the slope of the vertical line is undefined. The slope of a line that's horizontal is slope 0.